I call the Honourable Meka Whaitiri.
E te maanga e tuarua o te wharenei tēnā koe. Ko hukurangi te maunga, ko waiapui te awa, ko Ngāti Parau te iwi. E te tuahine, hine tā whiwhirangi. Rātau mā kua wehe atu I te pō, haere, haere, moi maira. Mr Speaker, can I please acknowledge your appointment to the bench, along with our assistant colleagues in Adrian Rudaffair, Poto Williams, and of course the Speaker himself, the Honourable Trevor Mallard. I know that you've all been appointed on merit, Madam Speaker, and I wish you all the best and look forward to your rulings over this 52nd Parliament. Madam Speaker, this is my first contribution in the 52nd Parliament. Can I extend warm greetings to all the new members in this House and say I look forward to an exciting term that lays in front of us, Madam. Can I please acknowledge the voters of Ikaroa Rāwhiti, Madam Speaker, those that have supported me to return to this House as their representative. Can I mihi out to the many of them from Pōtaka in the north right through to Waniumata, nō reira e te iwi o te Ikaroa Rāwhiti, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Madam Speaker, one of the failings of the last government over the last 9 years that I've clearly witnessed as the member for Ikaroa Rāwhiti is the lack of infrastructural investment throughout my electorate. And I'm talking about roading, health, education and jobs in the regions, which for 9 years, Madam Speaker, 9 years, that side of the House failed to deliver in the electorate of Ikaroa Rāwhiti. And, Madam Speaker, I was up the coast just the other day in Rangitukia, in Tolaga Bay and also in Tokomaru, and the issues remain the same, Madam Speaker, of the issues I've raised around lack of investment in my region, around roading, around health, around education and around jobs. Madam Speaker, I'm proud to stand here in a Labour-led government, and I want to commend our second elected female Prime Minister in Jacinda Ardern. I want to acknowledge the Right Honourable Winston Peters and his decision to go into coalition with Labour, and of course our friends the Greens. Madam Speaker, I'm excited about the proposed policies that lay in front of us for the next 3 years. And I want to take the time for that side of the House particularly, and for the members that are watching, to remind us that this government is going to be a government of action, Madam Speaker. Not a government that's going to sit around and twiddle around and not do anything, but an absolute commitment to action. And it's no better reflected, Madam Speaker, than in the Coalition 100-day plan. And when I look through it, Madam Speaker, I want to highlight some areas that I know are going to deliver real results to the people of Ikaroa Rāwhiti. Let's look at education, Madam Speaker. We're going to raise the student allowance by $50 starting on the 1st of January. That's going to be enormously beneficial to many of the young people throughout my electorate in going into tertiary education particularly, but anything post-education. We're going to lift or make available the first year of education that the Minister of Education has talked about in this House. Madam Speaker, housing has continued to be a big issue throughout my electorate, and in the Healthy Home Guarantee, many of the Māori constituents I represent are going to benefit from all the homes being fully insulated and warm. Banning speculators, Madam Speaker, is going to reduce the price and make it affordable for very first-time owners. And of course, establishing the Housing Authority, Madam Speaker, and beginning the Kiwi build with the billion-dollar trees. There should be no unemployment in Ikaroa Rāwhiti with Kiwi build and a billion trees. So I want to acknowledge the Honourable Shane Jones and his role in terms of regional economic development. Whānau, Madam Speaker, we talk about the family package, and as winter comes next year, once we get over summer, the winter fuel package, the Best Start and the paid parental leave extensions kicking on the 1st July is definitely going to help Māori. And of course the minimum wage that's going to lift to $16.50 and introducing fair legislation to improve our workplaces, Madam Speaker, is always going to make a difference. Of course, the ministerial inquiry into mental health is a big issue on the coast, is a big issue in Gisborne, is a big issue in Hawke's Bay, and I welcome that as part of the 100-day plan. And of course, in the environment, we are going to clean up our rivers and waterways, and we're going to set zero carbon emission goals through an independent climate commission. And of course, when it comes to the finance, we have very strict financial commitments and rules and regulations, and we're going to resume the contribution to the New Zealand Super Fund and establish the Working Party. So I just want to put on record, Madam Speaker, that this government is going to be a government of action, and no better is it demonstrated but in the 100-day plan. Madam Speaker, I am proud to be accorded the opportunity to be a Minister of the Executive, and I want to take this time now to acknowledge the portfolios that I've been given and talk briefly about them. I want to acknowledge the men and women up and down this country who are custom officers that look after the border of this country in terms of illegal drug trafficking and anything else that we don't want in this country. I want to acknowledge them for the hard efforts that they do. Illegal drugs, Madam Speaker, revenue collection for importers and exporters, and another big one that I'm particularly interested in is trade. That's the Ministry of Customs, much more complex than I've given them time for, but I want to acknowledge that I'm looking forward, Madam Speaker, to working alongside the hard-working officials in the Ministry of Customs. I'm also the Associate Minister of Agriculture. And what that previous speaker said around primary industries. Can I share, as I've travelled up and down this country and met with different farmers, the feedback I'm giving is quite a different one to that former minister. They're pleased that we've got a Labour-led government. They're pleased of the innovative ideas because for 9 years there's been a tired array of ideas coming from that side. They have come up to me, Madam Speaker, and said they are looking very much forward to working with myself and the Honourable Damien O'Connor in the agricultural space and pulling out or dismantling, can I just pull the fear around public servants losing their jobs. We have worked really well with our officials, Madam Speaker, to ensure them that we value the contribution they will continue to make to this Labour-led government, and nothing will change in that front. So don't take any notice of that former minister. I want to also acknowledge the local government associate role that I've picked up, and of course the newly formed Crown Māori Relations, which is an exciting new portfolio that this Labour government has decided to create. And can I just say in that context, in terms of the Crown Māori space, I want to acknowledge the treaty work that governments do, particularly the Office of Treaty Settlements with iwi. Once that is generally finished and the negotiation we've got to agreement, then the Crown generally leaves the table and it's onto the iwi to get onto it. I actually believe that there's an opportunity for the Crown to remain at the table, to unlock the economic potential, not just through iwi settlements, but whānau, hapu, marae organisations who want to make a better difference for their people that they represent. And there's definitely a role, I believe, Madam Speaker, for the Crown to remain at that table. And that's why, Madam Speaker, I'm excited for the role in working with the Honourable Kelvin Davis in that particular space. Madam Speaker, there isn't much more that I want to add other than to look forward to working on this side of the House with the innovative and bold suggestions that all three parties have come to the table with. I'm looking forward to working with colleagues. The 100-day plan, Madam Speaker, is an ambitious plan, but it's clear, it's open, it's transparent, it's available to the public. We will be held accountable on what we've said we are going to do in the 100 years. It is inspiring, it's ambitious, but I wouldn't want it any other way, Madam Speaker. I wouldn't want it any other way, and those members on that side are going to have to realise that you've got 3 years of sitting there. You've got 3 years of sitting there. You've got 3 years of sitting there and listening to this side of the government that has been brought in to create and fix the mess that you have left behind. And I'm happy to be part of a Labour-led government who is going to make a difference for all New Zealanders. Kia ora, Madam Speaker.
I just remind members not to bring the Speaker into it because it's becoming quite prevalent in the House. I call the Honourable Jackie Dean.
Madam Speaker, it is a pleasure to follow the controversy.